you, tell you I'm sorry. You don't know how lovely you are. I had to find you, tell you I need you, tell you I'll set you apart. Tell me your secrets and ask me your questions. Oh, let's get back to the start. Running in circles, coming on tails, heads on the science apart. Nobody said it was easy. It's such a shame for us to part. Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be so hard. Take me back to the start. I was just guessing at numbers and figures, pulling the puzzles apart. Questions of science, science and progress, do not speak as loud as my heart. Tell me you love me, come back and haunt me. Oh, when I rush to the start, running in circles, chasing our tails, coming back as we are. Nobody said it was easy. Oh, it's such a shame for us to part. Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be so hard. I'm coming back to the start. I always like that song. I don't get, some people are like, Coldplay, ugh, Coldplay, ugh, I don't like Coldplay. They're like Nickelback. I like Coldplay and I don't mind Nickelback. I am a man of the people. Anyhow, every time I play a song that is a copyrighted song like that, just about, YouTube will demonetize at least part of the video. But Karen sent me a $9.99 super chat, so why not do a cover? I can do covers all night, folks. Let's just blow off the terror of failure and cover a selection of songs, mostly from the 90s, which was when I grew up. I mean, we could just do this all night. but I won't. Anyhow, somebody wrote me, actually a couple people wrote me and said, you know, I like watching your videos, but the streams, I gave you a thumbs down for the first time. And I'm like, why would he give me a thumbs down? He gave me a thumbs down because he said there were too many commercials in this stream. So apparently on the replay, I went and I looked at the settings. I said, it's not my fault. I mean, I didn't add the ads to it. I just told YouTube, go ahead and monetize it. Well, I went back and I looked at the settings. The default setting on the stream is like skippable video ads, non-skippable video ads, cards, sponsored notes, or, you know, sidebar such and such, and then pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll ads. I'm like, holy moly! No wonder. I mean, I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I have this piece of software that blocks advertising. If everybody had that, this channel wouldn't be making much money. But you see this? Yes, I see you've noticed the parasitic plant here. My wife hung this over my head. That is indeed mistletoe. Thank you very much, Nathaniel, for the super chat. And of course, thank you, Karen, for the super chat at the beginning there. I'm glad you're listening in, even if you can't join us. And thank you very much, Nathaniel, for the music and gardening stuff too. Oh, I appreciate that. So yeah, I've got mistletoe. So if Dana in Hawaii is watching, I know her dog likes to show up and give me kisses during the live stream because she sent me the video. It's like licking the screen while I'm on. Okay, so now you got an excuse. It's funny, but my wife found some mistletoe. What are you gonna do? No, don't hang that over my head. So, tonight's topic is one I have touched on a few times and I've covered in previous streams. The terror of failure. The fear of failure. Some of you are sitting out there tonight with trembling fingers. Perhaps alone, scared for your future, the future of your transplants, the future of your garden beds, your compost piles, your worm bins, and I just want to let you know that you're not alone. Failure. Failure is a big word for a lot of us. All right, I'm going to stop doing that because it's weird. But you ever listen to those late night shows? I have been driving before and come across some of these late night shows and going, wow, this is the weirdest stuff. There was one with this organ playing in the background. The guy's talking in that really low-key voice. Hope you're enjoying your drive this evening and that you're succeeding at whatever you're currently doing. If that's driving, please try to stay awake on the road and keep succeeding at that. So anyhow, the fear of failure. It's funny. We went to a vineyard. We went to a vineyard the other day, kind of out of the way, middle of nowhere vineyard, but it is the first vineyard slash, I guess, winery to open in Alabama after Prohibition. Does anybody know what the first winery slash vineyard to open after Prohibition in Alabama. Is any of our Alabama people know what that might be? Who came here for the one thumbs down? It's funny. I don't know. People are pathetic. Anybody know? Probably can Google it. Middle of nowhere. I saw their wine for sale in a grocery store. Nope, it's not Boone's Farm. Good guess. Saw their wine for sale in a grocery store, and my wife says, "Oh, look at that! That's not that far away. We should go visit them." Crepes of Wrath. Yeah. No. It's a place called Perdido Vineyards. Perdido is this little town out in the middle of nowhere. Yep, that's it. Greener shade of peel. Perdido Vineyards. So there's this little place in the middle of nowhere. It's like a nothing town, you know, and it's this gentleman started it after Prohibition, and man alive, he has had so many problems over the year with the tax guys trying to shut him down, with regulators trying to shut him down, with just repeatedly dumb stuff happening. And he kept pressing on and pressing on and pressing on. At one point, the revenue people decided he hadn't done some particular thing they wanted him to do, and they told him he could not have any alcohol on the premises whatsoever. He's got thousands of gallons of wine fermenting. And they suddenly just changed their mind on something and said that he couldn't do it. So he said, fine. I'm not making wine. I'm making vinegar. I'm opening all the tanks, and now we are making a different product. And they went and came back a short time later and decided that they were going to go after him and charge him with a felony for unlawful possession of alcohol or some crazy thing, and he had to go in and apply for a food service something or whatever, and he got somebody to stand in and intervene because he'd done all kinds of work for the community. He had been an expert witness on multiple cases. I mean, the guy just kept going, but he had to be a vinegar seller for a period of time until he could get the wine thing back. And the level of ridiculousness that they have to go through. They have to have a recipe and an amount of yeast and a certain amount of liters for every batch. It all has to be counted. They have to submit every tiny change that they do. They have to have their exact, alcohol content on and on and on and on and on. And it's absolutely nuts. But he just kept pressing on and pressing on and pressing on. And I was quite impressed visiting this place. But that's not actually the thing that I wanted to say about it. That as much as that's a great story of going against the odds and not being afraid of failure and pressing on and on and on, we had, my mother-in-law was visiting, and my wife wanted to find some cool places where we could go and visit, and this was one of those out-of-the-way places. It's like, that would be kind of interesting. Let's go see. We've never seen a winery before. Actual vineyard. Cool, So, the kids were like, some of them, not all of them. They're like, I don't know if you really want to go and tour a vineyard. That's, my kids don't drink, at least that I've seen. And they it's like they're just thinking this is going to be boring. I guess you could. They like to read. I mean, they would happily just sit around and read for hours, most of them. And it's like they're like, yeah, I don't know if we really want to go. And I said, come on, look, I've never been to a vineyard before, never been to a winery before. We don't know what it's going to be like. And the opportunity is here to do something that you have not done before. And it may be interesting and it may not be, but it will be a new experience, and it will broaden the experience of your life. It will be a different thing that you haven't done before. That's exciting. You ever met somebody who just isn't afraid of any experience whatsoever? They're just like, cool, we're gonna eat roasted spiders? Bring it. That's the hottest sauce ever? Let me taste it. We're gonna jump out of an airplane? Awesome, let's do it. You gonna climb Everest? Why not? You know, there are people like that. And other people often look at them like they're crazy, but they're kind of awesome. I was always impressed with people that weren't afraid of anything. You know? The not afraid to have an experience. So I was saying, you know, I told the kids, I said, look, I have no interest whatsoever in sewing, or let's say quilting. Now, my mother-in-law loves quilting, and she's very good at it. She does beautiful work, and I've always admired the work that she does. Beautiful. She makes beautiful quilts, and we've been given a few of them as gifts over the years, and they're treasured family heirlooms. But for me, I'm not interested in how to cut up pieces and sew them together. I can appreciate the final product, but I have no interest in quilts. But I told the kids, I said, look, I said, if there is, let's say, the Mennonites, who are well known for quilting. I said, a group of Mennonite ladies is doing a quilting exhibition, and they're showing quilting methods from the 1800s, and they're going to be doing a quilting demonstration showing you how quilts were made in the 1800s and doing a talk on it. I said, I would go. I said, I would go because of the experience. Because I'll probably learn something I hadn't learned before. And if I sit at home and I read the current political news and what might be happening next, and I poke around my backyard, maybe I do a little work in the backyard, maybe I sit down and I write a few paragraphs on one of my books and take a nap. I said, I'm not really broadening my horizons at all. I'm not really learning something new. I'm not seeing something I haven't seen before. I said, you don't know what kind of an interesting experience you might have going out and doing something that you haven't done before. If, you know, there have been times where somebody said, hey, you know, let's go do this. And I've been like, And they talked me into it. And then I've gone and done it, and I absolutely loved it. A friend of mine said, hey, you want to go jet skiing? And I said, I don't really have any interest in jet skiing. And he's like, come on. Fine, whatever. All right. I was just going to go walk around the garden, you know. Anyhow, he's got this jet ski that goes like 50 miles per hour. So we get on this jet ski and absolutely fly down this muddy Alabama river. It was awesome. I could have missed the experience. The really fun thing was that his wife was crazier than he was, and she had a matched one and was like tearing out and doing donuts and stuff. She was hilarious. But I tell you, like, I should just, if I'm going, you know, just take the experience and see what happens. Often our first answer is no. First answer, no, don't really want to do that. I think I want to stay at home. And if you do that again and again and again, eventually, you know what happens? All the doors close, and you become this person that never does anything. You sit in your house, and you get old, and you decay, and you do not have interesting experiences. You do not learn, you do not grow, and you do not fail, but you don't succeed either. There's stuff that, you know, I don't like doing. I don't like swimming in the deep ocean. I always imagine things eating me. But I made myself jump off a sailboat in the beautiful sparkling waters of the Caribbean and go swimming around in the deep ocean. Really didn't really want to. I thought something's gonna come up and eat me. But there were a bunch of kids in the water already. And I'm not gonna look like a chicken around the kids. So there you go. I did it. Glad I did it. I'm not so scared anymore. I mean, it's a dumb thing, right? I mean, just because occasionally somebody gets their limbs torn off by a sea creature, it doesn't mean it happens every time. And that you shouldn't enjoy the experience if it does happen. So, you know, would you like to play at our event? I don't know, not really. I might screw up. No, I'm just gonna do it. I'll go do it. I have a friend of mine who's been pushing me to sing at weddings. She wants me to go sing at weddings. She wants me to sing that song, Josh Groban. What is it? What is that song? You. When I'm down, feeling. No, that's not it. That's Art Garfunkel. Josh Groban. I don't even know. I don't know the song very well at all. But people keep singing it like it's like our modern hymn. Let's see, how's it go? When I'm down, oh my soul's so weary. When troubles come and my heart burning me, you raise me up so I can climb on mountains. I don't know, it's something like that. You know, you raise me up so I can climb on mountains, so I can go swimming, so I can get on a jet ski. I'm gonna try it. Wait a second, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be beautiful. Because I don't want to let the beautiful bride and the handsome groom down. I'm gonna do it. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Yeah, yeah. Oh, raise me up so I can stand on my turf. Yeah, yeah. See, it's easy to sing. She wants me to sing that at weddings. I mean, I have my own style about it. It's called Eddie Vedder's style. But I haven't done it. One of these days, I'm gonna sing it at I'm gonna sing at a wedding. And I'm not gonna fail. But if I do, I will have sung "You Raise Me Up" at a wedding. You know. There you go. Agreed. There you go. Or share with a bad cough. That works also. Oh my gosh. So, the terror of failure. I've had to always tell people just to do stuff. Can I grow an avocado in Georgia? Try. Can you throw used motor oil in the compost pile? Try. Don't be afraid. No, that's a joke. Used motor oil is what you use to paint your fence posts. But I think a lot of people want permission. You know, people want permission to go ahead and try something because they're afraid of failing. I mean, people have written me these panicky emails. Help! It's the first time I've ever grown parsley, and they're covered with like these white things, and they're all gonna die. I'm like, so what? I've killed so many things. The trick is to kill lots of things. People are like, should I get married? You know, the divorce rate is 50%. It's only because people are lazy. But if you don't go ahead and get married, you don't know what you're missing. You know? You don't get somebody hanging mistletoe over your head and then sneaking into your office. You know? Yes, you could fail. But you give it a darn good try. You do your very best. You do your very best to grow what you're going to grow. You do your very best to succeed at whatever business you're going to do. Lots of people have said, I have this book idea. I wish I could write books. I have this book idea. Well, write it. Just write it. Write it. So, can this grow here? I don't know. Try it. I'll tell you how I wrote Totally Crazy Easy Florida Gardening. I planted a whole bunch of plants, and the ones that died on me and did poorly for year after year were the ones I did not recommend, and the ones that grew and did well, I did recommend. I just let my garden sort itself out. I didn't care that stuff died. Stuff dying was teaching me things. I don't expect every one of the 12 beds I just planted to succeed. If one of them really, really takes off, I'll be thrilled, and I'll expand that part of it. Scott says, failure means you're in the game. That's right. People were like, Donald Trump, he failed a bazillion times. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what business people do. Most people don't try anything. I mean, great, go ahead, fail. At least you tried something. I mean, try something. Try something. There's no shame in the failure if you did your best. Now, even if you didn't do your best, the failure teaches you where you didn't do your best, and then you try again. Now, when it comes to like businesses and stuff, I tend to think, it's best to avoid debt, first of all, so you don't end up getting completely destroyed, because then you can't really go below zero. If you have borrowed a lot of money to start the business, that can be super painful. I wouldn't borrow money unless I had a pretty reasonable expectation of success, And sometimes it's really good to fail on a small scale to learn. Go ahead, fail, test it in your garden. Don't necessarily say, if you're really that nervous. If you're really that nervous about failure, you can always test it in a 4x4 or 5x5 or a little 4x8 bed or whatever like that. I don't know if I really want to plant 2,000 square feet of it, but hey, you know what? If you just go ahead and dig that 2,000 square foot garden and you plant the whole thing with something, and you're gonna try and grow enough turnips to sell turnips to your neighbors. I mean, I say this because one of my sons is growing turnips right now. Like, he's planted, I think, 5 beds of turnips. He wants to sell them to neighbors. A couple of neighbors said they wanted to buy turnips. They love turnip greens. They love turnips. So, if you go ahead and do an acre of turnips, do it. Learn from it. Fail magnificently. If you're a little more timid, fail on a small scale. It's exciting. I try not to beat, I don't get on my kids' cases for failing, and I don't get on gardeners' cases for failing. What I get on their cases for is not taking the experiences when they come and jumping on them. Because I have missed experiences myself that I wish I had been better. I wish I had not let fear get in the way of trying things sometimes. Some years ago, talking about borrowing money, some years ago when gold was around $600 an ounce, I had been reading Austrian economics. Now, the Austrian economics group, that was like Murray Rothbard and Ludwig von Mises. I was interested in the classical ideas of economics as opposed to Keynesian economics. What we currently have is this weird Keynesian economic system that doesn't make sense, and it's not a good predictive model because it keeps blowing up and having problems. Whereas, you know, the Austrian ideas, I think, were generally correct. So I'm reading and I'm looking at what the President Bush's spending at that point. Now Bush, you think he looked like he was supposed to be a fiscal conservative, and he was going to rein in spending and all that kind of stuff, or at least a lot of people thought so. But he gets into office and he just keeps going on this spending binge. So what happens when you spend money that you don't have, and the money supply has to increase to go up with it? So the Federal Reserve is basically printing to keep up with the spending. It's that objects that have intrinsic value start to float against the paper. If you make more and more and more of something, things that are not being made more and more and more of go up. If there's 1,000 of one thing and 100 of another thing, it's like 10 of these for one of those kind of thing. Things like gold and silver and real estate and that sort of stuff, I thought this is probably going to go up. It's going to go up. Just if what I'm reading in these classical economists is correct, by printing more dollars, eventually that inflation is going to do it. So what does government deficit spending lead to? It leads to inflation over time and the rise of things that are not as easy to print. So I considered taking out a $10,000 loan to buy ounces of gold when it was at 600. Just buy as many ounces as I could and then resell it after the rise. But I didn't, because I had very limited income at that point. I didn't have any extra cash to play with or anything. And I looked and I was like, I don't think that I should take this bet, but I'm pretty darn sure that this bet is going to pan out. Well, I should have done it, because within a year it was over $900 an ounce, which would have given me a good solid return on the money, and then I could have easily paid the loan off and then come out with a few thousand extra bucks for my trouble. But I never did it, and I really didn't have much money to play with ever, so the accumulation of assets has not been something that I was particularly good at over the years. Just a little extra here and a little extra here, but I didn't believe in debt. So it's a slow process, but there are times where I thought, if I had been a little more aggressive at this point, I could have done really well. But there were other points, like when I was young, I had inherited a little bit of money and I put it in the stock market, and I lost it. I lost almost all of it in a couple of years because I had no idea what I was doing. I lost it. Boom. And that hurt really bad because I was young and I made very little money. Well, I learned a ton from it. All right. It's not a failure. It was a failure. It was painful. But losing $6,000 then taught me a lot. And then later on, I understand things better. I understand what not to do or how to protect myself better, that kind of thing. But I'll tell you, that was a huge amount of money for me to lose. And I was so angry at myself. I beat myself up so bad. I just moved back after over 4 years in the Caribbean. Abandoned my property, ditched it, tried something new. Now I'm in Alabama. It's a failure? Sure. But Doesn't matter that much. I'm successful. Family came through all right. I came back to the States with 2 more children than I left with. And I learned a ton about tropical agriculture. Got to try all kinds of plants I'd never tried before. Got to live as a minority in a different culture. Got to finally see what it was like to be in the tropics year-round. Got to go swimming at the most beautiful beaches. Got to meet some incredible people. Got to taste things and see things and do things I'd never done before. So it's failure that it didn't continue, maybe. But hey, I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't trade it. Fail fast. Try to do things that you have not done before. I did not go into debt to move overseas. And I came back still not in debt. Yes, I'm renting again. That's fine. I'll buy again at some point. I'm so tempted to just buy like a little house. Like buy a little house in Atmore, a little 1/4 acre lawn, and plant the entire thing as a food forest, and then flip it. Like, you could have a house that was redone by David the Good with my incredible, crazy, insane food forest system all around it. Like, just pack the yard with awesome fruit trees and stuff. Do all the top layer, the middle layer, the vine layer, the shrub layer. The entire yard is an incredible garden. Spend like, a year making this thing awesome and then put it up for sale again. Real nice, peaceful little town. You have a David the Good original. And sell it for like, $25,000 more than I paid for it. Something like that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I don't even really have the money to do it, but I kind of like the idea. I should probably do it and see if I fail or not, Shane Lee says, "You don't sound convinced. You sound like you're trying to convince. Become a realist and stop lying to yourself and others." Shane, I'm a failure. I'm a failure, Shane. Oh my gosh. Nothing ever works out for me. Oh, can't you see? I'm an F-A-L-U-R-E. Okay, that's pretty good. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Now, if I had it to choose again, I might have gone someplace else. Maybe I would have gone to Austria. Give up and don't try anything again, 'cause you're an L-O-S-E-R F-A-I-L-U-R-E. So tell us what you've done, Shane. What have you done with your life, buddy? Have you written any books? Got married? Had a few kids? Have you lived overseas? These things are not failures. Failures. Not failures ultimately. If you were to say, okay, I'm gonna practice skydiving with homemade parachutes that I have woven from spider silk, and you die, I'd say that's pretty much kind of a terminal failure, But the experience of one thing after the other, it's not. And you know what? My property is under contract right now, down on the island, so it's gonna sell. Be fine. I have written books that sold horribly. I did a book for somebody as a ghostwriter. Never even got paid the advance on it. supposed to be an advance and then a percentage of the profits, and they screwed me over on it. They never. It's been 2 years since I written it. Supposed to have gotten paid. I spent all like 6 weeks, worked through Thanksgiving and everything. It happens. I wrote part of a soundtrack for a video game company once, where everybody was supposed to share the profits, and did not end up having that happen. I worked and worked again. I worked through a Christmas season. Spent 2 weeks trying to get this thing done for them, and then they're like, first I should have known to begin with, because they're like, we all trust each other. We're not really under contract here. We're all just gonna work together like buddies on this project. I hope you don't have any trust issues. And I'm like, no, it sounds fine. I'll put the music together and see how it goes. Great, it'll be a 5%, of what our profits are. I'm like, okay, cool. So, it ended up, not only did they change their minds after I had done a bunch of work for them, they just disappeared, and that was it. I spent all this work. Failure. I did a graphic design project and ended up submitting it in the wrong file format for what this printer wanted, and it was just insane. It ended up being so much work, and they were like, no, you have to do this, and now you have to do this, and no, we don't like it this way, and it's got to be done this way. I came out to like $2 an hour. Complete failure. But you know what it taught me? It taught me not to do graphic design work anymore. I really don't like doing graphic design work. I don't mind doing, like YouTube stuff, or occasionally photoshopping something funny as a joke, but it taught me what I didn't want to do. Becoming an expat taught me I didn't want to be an expat anymore. It's cool. Taught me how much I really like the United States, how much I like Dollar General and microwave ovens. I do. So, I'm not lying. I am not a liar. And I don't appreciate people accusing me of lying. So, I am going to remove you and hide you because you are a jerk. And this is my stream. So, if you apply this to your garden, you go out and you say, okay, I don't know how well this particular bean is going to grow. Well, plant it and find out. If you don't know if your area is quite warm enough for apples, see if you can get, affordable bare root trees, if you can get a few of them, or plant seeds all over the place and go slow, you just go and you throw it out there and you see, does it work? There's what is the name of that guy? The restoration agriculture guy. I have his book. Oh man, what is his name? It's not Gabe Brown, is it? Restoration agriculture. The guy who did the really good book. Mark Shepard. Sorry, I'm losing it. Delayed destruction. Boom! Mark Shepard talks about how he plants all of these chestnuts. He planted chestnuts, right? He plants them to see which ones will do well. And what is it? Sheer, total, utter neglect. Yeah, the stun method, sheer, total, utter neglect. Which is not exactly total, utter neglect. But he plants all of these chestnuts. Some of them take off, and some of them don't. A lot of them die. He says a lot of the trees die. But the ones that live and the ones that fruit, then he can select out of those and use those for grafting stocks for other trees. But he's playing a long-term game here. Instead of taking one variety, which is subject to the same climate conditions, it's adapted to certain climate conditions, it's proof against certain diseases, hopefully, you know. He plants it and allows the genetic diversity of all of them to come out. And he has a very high failure rate on the trees. But the ones that remain and produce good chestnuts in his area are perfectly adapted to his area because there was like 90% failures. If you play your betting, don't make big bets on things that could damage you hugely. What you do is, this is the barbell strategy of investing. Say, you know, this is from, I got this idea from Nicholas Nassim Taleb, who's one of my favorite writers. I mention him regularly. You have a certain amount of your assets, 90% of your assets are in a mayonnaise jar. That is safe. CD accounts, safe. Treasuries, safe. Super safe, boring stuff. You know? Your house, whatever. Super safe, boring stuff. And then, the remaining 10% of your money, you make insane bets. Basically, like, play the lotto with it. Somebody has some crazy idea. You see some penny stock and somebody says, oh man, this thing might take off. You know, a friend of yours wants to launch a computer company. Why not? You know, do weird stuff. Take outrageous bets. You know, go gambling on, you know, your local presidential election or whatever. You can't lose a huge amount of money easily at all because a lot of your stuff is sitting in things that are tangible and solid and boring and, you know. Yes, occasionally something horrible happens, like, you know, your entire currency is destroyed. Like the dollar may get destroyed, but that's a very outsider risk compared to the chances that it's probably just going to continue to inflate at a certain rate, and it's pretty slow and it's pretty boring, and it's probably not going to all go away. You're going to have FDIC insured on your bank account and whatever. But on the other hand, you're making these weird bets. You know, play derivatives or some kind of nonsense, you know. You can do weird things, provided you don't have the potential to go super horribly into debt and have the trade turn back on you and you get dragged into bankruptcy, you know. That's not cool. But you can do the same thing in your garden. And that's how I arrange my gardens, is I have crops that I know are going to be successful and easy. Things like bush beans or yams. You've got like your dead simple. Some areas, you know, tomatoes are super easy or cabbage is super easy. You know, your area is going to be different. Everybody's area is a little bit different. But you got the dead ringer crops, the ones that everybody's trying to give away. You've got DJIA is Dow Jones Industrial Average. So you plant the basis of your garden, your potatoes, you know, your bush beans, cherry tomatoes, the real boring, easy stuff. And then you play with weird things. I don't know if this particular tropical green is going to grow well here, you know, so you try it. My friend Elizabeth gave me this seed packet the other day. This is Egyptian spinach. It's also known as jute. She decided to try it here in Zone 8, and it produced so much food for her. She's still got tons of it in the garden. It just keeps going and going and going, and it's already self-seeding, you know, self-seeding and showing up, and, you know. It's a test. But she also planted a lot of stuff that she pretty much knew would do well. So you play around. You know, you have your basis for the garden where you got the pretty safe stuff. And then from there, You play around with the stuff. And you don't be afraid to fail at it. You'll fail at it. You know? And remember, we're all going to die. Eventually, we'll all die. Is there something you wish you tried before you died? You know? Are you going to get older and be like, I wish I'd had kids. I wish I'd bought a motorcycle. I wish I'd tried to grow Egyptian spinach. You know, you're eventually going to, you're eventually not going to be able to do the stuff that you're doing now. You're going to get older. You're going to die. Things get worse. And you don't want to not live your entire life because you're afraid of failure. That's not the way to do it. And so when I told my kids, look, you haven't been to a vineyard before. I know you want to stay home and read books, but this is an experience that you've not had before. Let's go try it. Let's go see what happens. And it was a few days later. We were driving around. We had to go drive down to Mobile, and there was a park down there. And the kids were like, "Oh, cool! Look at that! They have this gigantic locomotive in the park." So, should we stop? Let's go stop and check it out. Now I could go, no, it's just a city park. I don't know if I want to go. Let's just go run our errand to all the predictable places that we were going to go, and then let's go home. But instead, we went to the park. The kids got to climb. Normally, I think these gates are locked up. You're not supposed to go climbing on the locomotive, but it was unlocked. So we all got to walk in, and the kids got to climb up and stand on the top of the locomotive. It was like 20 feet up, 30 feet up. It was insane. It was like the hugest thing. The wheels are like taller than the kids. And we went to go, like, I carefully let them go in and look at where they would have shoveled in the fuel and the back area and stuff. We got to walk all around it, and they got to see a old vintage fighter jet on a stand. And then it turns out they had this little up and down skateboard ramp, and one of my kids happened to have a skateboard in the car, and they had not tried a skateboard ramp before. So that happened. And then there was this other area, they had this drainage retention area, and it was all growing a bunch of different flowers, and there were these beautiful primroses and duck potatoes growing in there. And I got to go identify some of those plants with the kids, and we got to walk around, and my little daughter was picking flowers. And I thought, I could have just run these errands. I thought, you know, it's just a little city municipal park. It's going to be a fail. But it ended up not being a fail. Yeah, we could have gone there, and it could have been really boring, and maybe it was all locked up, and, you know, there's nothing to do. But having gone and done this, now I have this great experience. This fun time that I spent with the kids. Do you want to try such and such? I think you should just say yes. Most of the time. Just say yes. Go see what happens. I have kept goats. I would say I'm a failure at goats. We kept rabbits. Definitely a failure at rabbits. Kept chickens. Kind of a failure at chickens. We had a lot of predators eating the chickens. We had ducks, guineas. Weren't necessarily failures, but I didn't really enjoy doing that whole thing. And I was like, I realized I'm just not an animal person. I don't like trying to care for animals. I feel much more like I'm really screwed up when I go out and I find an animal that has been murdered by a predator, or multiple animals that have been murdered by a predator that were eating out of my hands the day before. There's nothing worse than hearing the rooster going, and all the hens freaking out in the middle of the night and knowing there is something in there murdering them all. It's tough. So, but I tested, I tried all kinds of things. Now, if I was to go back and keep chickens, which I am going to eventually, probably in the spring, you know, there's a whole setup. I know how I'm going to do it. And I know that I'm going to succeed at it the next time because I've worked most of the failures out. And so when I go back and do it, it's going to work. When I came here and I saw this really bad soil, I'm going to make it work. Yeah, some of the crops are going to fail. But I'm going to fail a lot less than if I hadn't done a whole bunch of previous failures. I failed at gardening in Florida sand for a long time before I wrote Totally Crazy Easy Florida Gardening. It's a great book because there's so much fail in it. All the fail has been worked out until all that was left was success. Woodstove Bear says that try everything strategy didn't work out so well for... Better not say anything about that. We're going to get bananated. But I don't say try everything on an immoral level. I definitely don't agree with that. If you can try things that will be future and permanently damaging to your soul. You don't want to try things for the sake of trying things that are evil or damaging or, you know, I've never had an affair before, I'll go try that, you know. You don't want to damage your soul. There's a lot of things that we've done in the past that we look back and go, ooh, wish I'd never done that. There are failures like that only God's love can take away. Only God's forgiveness can take away because that's a different kind of failure. That's not like failure growing radishes. Some of these failures leave marks on your soul that are brutal and painful, and you wish you'd never said that thing or done that thing to that person or been at that place at that time or gotten drunk that night and done whatever. You know, so there are things like that. Definitely want to avoid those kind of failures. We're all going to fail because we are broken by nature. But we're talking about non-moral failures. There's no moral failure in taking a job in a new town, realizing that that town is not the place for you, that your kid's school is no good, or that your boss is horrible, and then leaving and being, you know, down to your last penny and starting over somewhere. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. That kind of failure happens. Don't let it eat your life. Go and do the next thing. Go and do the next thing. Go and do the next thing. You know. Foo Bear says, tilling damages your soul. Okay. Okay. All right, you win for tonight. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh. Holy moly, that's funny. Karen, thank you very much for the chicken coop fund. I appreciate it. I am going to put a chicken coop in, but I was thinking I was going to get some chicks and keep them, but a couple of people said, don't do it right now. Don't do chickens right now. Don't try to keep them through the cold. Just do it in the spring, so I'll probably do that. Tilling damages your soul. Super Duper Prepper 77? Super Duper Prepper 77? Huh. I think that channel will be worth subscribing to. Sounds good to me. Tyler says we're just 15 minutes north of Mobile. Oh, we're basically neighbors. Basically, no moral failures in gardening. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Pastor Don. I'm sorry the storm tore you up. It was moving fast. We didn't get any serious damage. So, Dan says there are moral failures in gardening. Stealing mulch, you dirty tiller. How cold does Alabama get? It can get down to, I mean, where we are, it can get down to 10 degrees, but it's not that common. I don't want you guys to be afraid of failing in the garden. I want you, you know, spring is coming up. Try a bunch of different methods. Try all kinds of different things. You guys see Scott Head's latest video? Throwing out the rules on composting. The guy is a mad rebel. Scott's not afraid to try new stuff. Some of my favorite YouTubers are the guys that just, they're trying stuff. Testing things, doing nutty things. The Dave Wilson Orchard guys. Love that. I like the guy who does Sharpen My Axe. The guy that does Sharpen My Axe. It's a guitar. He's a guitar guy. He takes like cheapo, like a $60 guitar, and he turns it into a super strat, you know. It's very cool. Pastor Don, if there's anything we can do, you know, let me know. I don't know how far away you are from us right now, but if you need help, you know, drop me an email. See if we can do something. Will I build the chicken coop out of varnish caulk, plywood, and use motor oil? I think that's what all southern chicken coops are built out of. The chicken coop could double as a playpen for the little ones, and I've heard it's probiotic. Let's see if I can find a song here to make sure that we're demonetized. This, yeah, I always get demonetized when I play this song. But I don't care. I hear the drums echoing tonight. She hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things you never had. Wild dogs cry out in the night. They go restless, longing for some solitary company. I know that I must do what's right. Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. It's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things you never had. I'll bless the rains down in Africa. I'll bless the rains down in Africa. I'll bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things you never had. I always liked that one. First time I tried to play that song, I failed. I failed very badly. Second time I tried to play that song, I failed. Very badly. Very badly. I failed over and over again. But I finally got it. Mostly, my voice is not quite as good as that guy's voice, but what are you gonna do? Who sang it better? Toto did. Thank you very much. Thermos Fullerton. Sing it, David. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Free bird. Oh my goodness. Free bird. Now there's a song. There is a song that has a poor message. I'm as free as a bird now. I am going to take what I want from this relationship and flee from you. Oh my goodness. So, I'll see if I can sing one more song. I wonder if I could get my violinist to show up. Let me see if I can find a violinist. Hey, Ray. You want to play Molly Malone on the violin? Okay. Oh no, the violinist is busy with a baby. Very sad. Here's another sad song. So long ago and I don't remember when. That's when they say I lost my only friend. Said she died easy of a broken heart disease as I listened to the cemetery trees. I see the sun coming up on the funeral at dawn, the long broken arm of human law. It always seemed such a waste, she always had a pretty face. I wondered how she hung around this place. Hey, yeah, yeah, come on, try a little. Nothing is forever. Got to be something better than in the middle. Me and Cinderella, we got it all together. We can drive it home with one headlight. Said it's cold, it feels like Independence Day, and I can't break away from this parade. There's got to be an opening somewhere here in front of me through this maze of ugliness and greed. I see the sun up ahead at the county line bridge, saying all there's good and nothingness is dead. Run until she's out of breath, she ran until there's nothing left. She hit the end, that's just her window ledge. Hey, yeah, yeah, come on, try a little. Nothing is forever. Got to be something better than in the middle. Me and Cinderella, got it all together. We can drive it home. Come on, try a little. places, oh, feels like a beat up truck. I turn the engine, but the engine doesn't turn. Does a Jeep want a cigarettes? This place is always such a mess. Sometimes I think I'd like to watch it burn. So alone and I feel just like somebody else. Man, I ain't changed, but I know I ain't the same. But somewhere here in between the city walls of dying dreams, I think of death, it must be killing me. Hey, yeah, yeah, come on, try a little. Nothing is forever. Got to be something better than in the middle. Me and Cinderella, we got it all together. We can drive it home. Come on, try a little. Nothing is forever. Got to be something better than in the middle. Me and Cinderella, we got it all together. We can drive it home with one headlight. One headlight. There's another failure. It was a girl I really liked. And that was back in high school. She loved that song. She liked him better than she liked me. And I thought, oh, this is like the most perfectest girl ever. But it didn't work out. And then I met another girl. And I thought, this girl is the most perfectest girl ever. And it didn't work out. And then I actually met the most perfectest girl ever. And I married her. And we had 9 children. So it worked out. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much, Liberty Not Licensed. $7 for the beautifully sung song. $3 for the evil overlords for evil overlording. Thank you very much. Molly Malone. That's the one I want to get. I want to get Rachel to sing Molly Malone. I want her to play the violin on Molly Malone because she's really good at that. Come on, let's do Molly Malone. Tina sends a $20 super chat and says, music appreciation. Thank you very much. Thank you for the green thumb and the music appreciation. We have remonetized this stream, which is funny because I'm probably just going to turn the ads off on it anyways. So I don't know if it means that there'll be no ads on it whatsoever, but you know, one of the things I like about unauthorized.tv is that over there, you know, it's $5 a month, but there's 0 ads. What I don't like about it is that there's not, I can't put anything in the descriptions of the videos yet. Like there's not a way to type in and put in the links and write up what I think about the video and, you know, send people over to Planet Whiz Bang, you know, go check out the Planet Whiz Bang wheel hoe, you know, Herrick is a friend of mine, or you should see Scott's video on such and such, or you should see, you know, Self-Sufficient Me did this, or whatever. I can't like link to anybody, you know. Diana sends a $5 super chat and says, we love you, David. Keep being you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't think I could be anybody else. Karen sends a super chat. Karen, thank you. Remonetize fund. Much appreciated. Yeah. God loves you so much, D to the G, that he saved a rock star from his own devices and gave him an unimaginably wonderful family. Truly a blessed quiverful, yeah. Amen. Hey, Joe, how are you? I had Rachel on the other night, but she's busy. She's got a baby to take care of. It's one of those things. She's a wonderful mom, and she takes good care of the kids. Let's see. I'm gonna play another sad song that nobody knows, but I keep playing it until you guys know it. What a beautiful piece of heartache. This has all turned out to be. Lord knows we've learned the hard way. All about healthy apathy. And I use these words pretty loosely. There's so much more to life than words. There's a me you would not recognize, dear. Call it the shadow of myself. And if the music starts before I get there, dance without me. You dance so gracefully. I really think I'll be okay. You're taking their toll these latter days. Nothing like sleeping on a bed of nails. Nothing much here but our broken dreams. Oh, but baby, if all else fails, nothing is ever quite what it seems. And I'm dying inside to leave you with more than just cliches. There's a me you would not recognize, dear. Call it the shadow of myself. And if the music starts before I get there, dance without me. You dance so gracefully. I really think I'll be okay. They're taking their toll these latter days. Tell them it's real. Tell them it's really real. I just don't have much left to say. They're taking the toll these latter days. They're taking the toll these latter days. They're taking the toll these latter days. Who knows this song? Did anybody know this song? We got it? Yeah, Carolyn says, I wish I could share your videos from unauthorized. That was how I introduce people to your videos and get you more fans. Yeah, I agree too. That would be very helpful. Nobody knows this song? Have a good night. I'm going to call this a night too here. There you go. A greener shade of pale. Over the Rhine. Good work. Over the Rhine, latter days. Amy A says, did you say 9 kids? Best to even it out and go for 10. Why not? I know, why not? My wife wants twins next time. We haven't had any twins yet. That would be a novel experience. I don't think this song is about dying. Well, if I've got another sad one. Find another sad one. This song is so sad. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. 'Cause when you're standing oh so near, I kinda lose my mind, yeah. It's not the perfume that you wear, it's not the ribbons in your hair. I don't mind you coming here, I'm wasting all my time. I don't mind you hanging out and talking in your sleep. It doesn't matter where you've been, as long as it was deep, yeah. You always do to wear it well. You look so fancy, I can tell. And I don't mind you hanging out and talking in your sleep. I guess you're just what I needed. I needed someone to feed. I guess you're just what I needed. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. 'Cause when you're standing oh so near, I kinda lose my mind, yeah. Not the perfume that you wear, it's not the ribbons in your hair. I don't mind you hanging out, wasting all my time. I guess you're just what I needed. I needed someone to feed. I guess you're just what I needed. Let's just stop it there. That's pretty good. When you don't have the, when you don't have the synthesizer, it's just, it is what it is. Thank you very much, Joe. Keep being Irie. Sir David the Good, sending $3 to the tip jar. Thank you very much. A music tip, much appreciated. Paul Kish quotes a good verse here. John 16:33, American Standard Version. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And amen to that, because it would be the ultimate failure to end up on the other side without knowing Jesus Christ. So, Carter the Great says, I found you on a They Might Be Giants song. Really? I would like to know about that. That's really funny. Like, I commented on the They Might Be Giants song. I'm a huge They Might Be Giants fan. Lime Buggy. Oh my gosh. Is Lime Buggy like the new hit? I don't know. I mean, I think I played Lime Buggy just the other day. You really... The lyrics, I haven't memorized the lyrics yet. I'm going to have to look it up on my screen here. My cheat sheet of Lime Buggy lyrics. Because the lyrics are like really intense. great to have good internet? I can't believe this is working. There's a truck in my field. In my field, there is a truck. On the back is a thing. There's a thing on the back. What's that thing on the back of the truck that's in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. A lime buggy on a truck. A truck with a lime buggy. A buggy filled with lime. A lime-filled buggy thing. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the truck in the back of my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. I mean all the time we spread that lime. Every instant is an instant where we spread that limey lime. In the future and the past, spreading lime across the grass. Lime buggy, buggy lime. Buggy lime, What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. Lime buggy on a truck with a lime buggy, a buggy filled with lime, a lime-filled buggy thing. What's that thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. What's the thing on the back of the truck in my field? It's a lime buggy, buggy lime. Yep. Instant hit. Mars sends a $5 super chat and says, Biscuit song. Oh boy. Karen, thank you. Karen sends another $4.98 super chat with a dancing pear. Thank you very much. Have a good night, Ev. Let me think. That's it. Get up in the morning time, making biscuits. Get up in the middle of the noonday, biscuits. Get up in the afternoon, making biscuits. Get up in the middle of the nighttime, biscuits. B-I-S-C-U-I-T. Here's to you, retired senior chief of biscuits. Biscuits. Get up in the morning time, making biscuits. Get up in the middle of the noonday, biscuits. Get up in the afternoon, making biscuits. Get up in the middle of the nighttime, biscuits. B-I-S-C-U-I-T. Here's to you, retired senior chief of biscuits. Biscuits, 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 biscuits. B-I-S-C-U-I-T. Here's to you, retired senior chief of biscuits, 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 biscuits. Whew. I will do requests. Woodstove Bear says to build a home or something Pink Floyd, Gunner's Dream, etc. Woo! Let me think. I can't do either of those. I used to have Adam Heartmother, which had some good tracks on it. And I can do Bicycle off of Piper at the Gates of Dawn. But I'm gonna make sure that I get demonetized here. Floyd just has that feel. Yes. Lime Buggy is my opus. Oh my gosh. Hey, Evan. On meds and not allowed your spice rum. I am so sorry. All right. Well, you guys have a very good night. Thank you all. This was a lot of fun. I didn't mean to just randomly end up playing songs for an hour, but you know, it's good. It was fun. Thank you all for the tips. I appreciate them. And I even enjoy having a chance to ban somebody every once in a while. You wonder where these thumbs down come from. It's because I don't like people to just start hijacking and getting weird. And it's fun. I actually enjoy a good troll. But, you know, I'm not going to have people accusing me of lying. Come on. I mean, if I was legitimately lying. Now, you could say that, you know, if you said something true, like if you said, your soil is so bad, those plants look anemic. Banned! No, they don't. I want you all to see how green they are. No, come on. It's much more fun to, you know. It's fun to have like a decent discussion without it getting absolutely insane. So, yeah. Greener Shade of Pale says, thanks again, Dave. How do we enroll for your newsletter? The newsletter usually comes out every week or two, and if you want it, you go to my website, thesurvivalgardener.com, and to the left it says start composting now, and it's got two ladies talking to each other. It says learn the simple secrets of and say no to landfills. Click here for David's free booklet, and with the free booklet, it's automatically you sign up for the newsletter. So that's the bait for the newsletter. I used to have a thing that just said sign up for the newsletter, but somebody's like, just give them something when they sign up for the newsletter. I'm like, okay, well, that seems to work. There's about 20,000 people on the newsletter, and I often link to other things that I find interesting. So like this last week, I linked to Stephen Edholm, and then the previous week, there was Jeff Lawton had this really cool worm bin. So I often talk about what's going on with the books and some of the behind the scenes stuff, and what things are going, so. Dirty tiller. That's funny. Gotta weed the garden, that's right. I appreciate it. I will be streaming again soon, so probably tomorrow night, maybe? What is that, October 30th? It's almost Reformation Day, folks. October 31st, don't miss it. So, have a great night. God bless you all, and thanks for tuning in. It was fun, and don't be afraid to fail. It's fine if you fail. Just pick yourself up, do the next thing. Pick yourself up, do the next thing. Trust in God, and I will catch you all next time. And until then, may your thumbs always be green.